till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never trapped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
hey, welcome back. Welcome back. This is Ready to Love, the season 7 finale. Hi, guys. How's everybody? Happy Easter Sunday. Happy Resurrection Day. How is everyone?
Doing
I'm
well.
doing
How
great,
about
Aubrey.
you?
All right. Good to hear that. What's the weather like where you guys are? I'm here in Michigan and it made it to about 62, 63 degrees today.
Yeah, Virginia's about the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
Kimberly.
North Carolina, 60s in North Carolina, and sunny. What a beautiful day.
Oh, amen. Amen. That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. So while I was in Easter Sunday service today, I was looking around my church and I was really enjoying because after about 3 years, more or less, we've been back in live service, but a lot of people still do the service through Facebook or YouTube. And so they're not there because we have quite an older congregation. And it was so nice to see like about 4 or 5 of our members who are elderly, but they are strong. When I say elderly, but they are strong seniors, like still walking on their own accord. Mind still sharp as a tack, and like one of the ladies sitting in front of me was almost 100 years old. We've got about 4 or 5 people in our congregation that are almost 100 years old, including one of our original civil rights leader is still alive and kicking right here in our church at Mayflower. And I was just so amazed that our pastor says that 2 of the gifts of our church are long lasting marriages and long lasting uh, congregants, right? So anybody else have like that kind of testimony going on at their church or in their community?
Well, I haven't been to church today, but I'm just thinking. I said, can you imagine the type of things that a 100-year-old person has seen? You know, it's
Right.
unreal, unreal. You're talking about being born in 1923 or 1922. You know, that is a long time. And to still be relatively healthy and getting around and all that history, if I knew somebody that long, I would converse with them regularly. I really would.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I had a chance to talk with her, and I am gonna. You're right. And she just recovered. I'm not sure if it was her hip or something had happened to her. And when you hear something, somebody's in their 80s and even 90s, and you hear something happen to them, or they took ill, and they're not doing well. You're praying for them, but you're not sure. Like, I mean, not to say where
Uh-oh. Who's that?
Kia.
Oh, okay.
Not saying where is their face, where's your face, but you just kind of say, well, if they're suffering, you may know they've seen a lot of life and they lived a long
Yeah.
life. But I was so glad to see her. This is the lady that's about to turn 100 years old, and I was just so glad to see her. And she was in such good form, and she remembered me. And I mean, she, like I said, her mind is sharp. She was telling me about things that I couldn't, I barely remembered. I'm like, you know what? These people that were created 80, 90, 100 years before us, they're a whole nother cut than the people right now. They're a whole nother cut.
Yeah, they built
Yeah.
different. They
They're
built
built.
different.
So
They're
true.
built different. What do they call them? The greatest generation, or what do they call it? It's a name for like the people during the World War II. Like my dad would have been part of that generation.
Oh, the baby boomers.
No, no, no. I'm a baby boomer. You're almost a baby boomer.
Mhm.
But no, 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 not baby boomers. This is the generation before that. This, I think they
Oh,
called it the
okay.
greatest generation. The people that served in World War II, they're just amazing. They've got a lot of grit, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, just anyway, but I just wanted to give acknowledgement that is the gifts that we have. That's the gift that we have at our church. It's just that long life and long marriage. And I talked to a young lady, um just a little bit older than myself, and her husband had been married 45, 46 years. I was like, wow.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah,
That's a dream.
that is, it's a reality for those, like when you serve Christ and your husband is following God, because if he loves the Lord, it's a lot easier for him to love you as a human being
Right.
flawed. It just really is. Men that follow really actually practice what is taught. through the Bible and through God's word. So I just wanted to say that that's my testimony. I love the Lord, and I know you probably didn't come for that, but I got to tell you that, that was on my heart. So that's what I got to say today.
What I'll tell you,
Good
we
to
haven't
me.
heard your boy Tony mention Christ in a while at this point.
Yeah, I call it his God card, and Lord, I don't mean it like that, but I think a lot of people like to play with God, and they better watch that. They better
Mhm.
watch
Yes.
it. He's the son of a preacher, a PK, a preacher's kid. He should know better than to play with God, like always dropping God dropping his name, and like you really into the Bible and the scriptures, and you out here having sex with having hot and heavy time with any and everybody. Like really,
Mm.
Yeah, because
that.
he was preaching that early, and he ended
Mhm.
up laying with Natasha, as we all found out. So
Right, right. Yeah, he had hot and heavy time allegedly. He was certainly dating her, and who knows what else. And then, you know what? To your point, Alex, he was a couple of weeks ago when Marcia was interviewing and all over. I think even one of my fellow content creators over on Chloe's channel, he was all in the chat flirting with her. So for him to say that Morgan, he knew he wanted Morgan since day one. Does that sound like he's being honest?
not to me, not at
No,
all.
no, nope, not at all, not at all. Alan V says he wanted a woman he could pray with. Yeah, pray with or play with. Which one? Which one is it? But we're gonna get started with these little notes. We're gonna get all into this because this was the finale. And I tell you, I was glad that it was the finale because I really want to see this reunion coming up. That sounds like it's gonna be a hot mess. Uh, we open with Dre sharing his struggles deciding between Cynthia and Jeffrey, even though we know better. I mean, really, we know he's not struggling. We know he's already made his choice, but this is all for dramatic effect. But okay, we're going to play along with you too. And we're going to play along with Own and, what was it, Will Parker, whomever produces this show. The two of them, even at this gathering for all the final 8 people, Dre and his woman Jeffrey, they've even coordinated their colors. And everybody, I have to say, everybody looks amazing. Cynthia says the journey was very interesting. What are you guys' thoughts? Kia is our latest panel on the A team, and we want to welcome her in, and we want to see what does she have to say about this foolishness.
So, I quit watching for a while because of all the foolishness. So, you kind of talked me into watching this season, and I feel the same. It's foolishness. Um, I just it just baffles me that people my age running around like they're insane. I mean, it just was a lot of stuff that rubbed me the wrong way, but I'll wait until we get into that later.
Mm-hmm. No, no, no. But I mean, if you want to say, well, you got something else to say, go ahead. Is there something else you want to
For
say related
example,
to? Okay.
Andre, when
Mm-hmm.
he came back, his feelings was hurt because the other young lady didn't call him boo hoo. But he already knew he wanted Jeffrey, even when I can't remember who came to his house, but he was trying to talk them into Jeffrey. So he already knew. Stop playing. But he liked the softer side, the needy woman when you went back to the boys. He liked the Jeffrey, but the other young lady was too, she was trying to fall back and being a strong woman, but that's not what he was looking for. And he has his right to look for what he wants or have a preference.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true.
But
Well,
you know,
uh-huh.
no, I
Okay.
said I just thought that was interesting because a lot of women out here are strong. She did mention that she was strong because she didn't have a choice. So sometimes we do come off as strong women, and
It
so it takes more than 2 months for me to trust that I can fall back with you. Also,
Right. And isn't that, I mean, I know for myself, having been a single mother, isn't that with oftentimes with single mothers, and particularly in the Black community, we as Black women, I think a lot of us used to have that slogan. I denounce it totally, that whole superwoman, Black superwoman trope that people use. I no longer want to be a Black superwoman or any kind of superwoman. I'm just a human being living in a human existence, a spiritual being inside of a human body. I don't even want to be that. I don't even want to be that. But I see where men might think that maybe we are somewhat masculine or so-called strong, but if more black men would step up to the community to do the things that need to be done, black women wouldn't have to carry the whole mantle of the black community and often the country on our backs.
Mhm. And I don't have a problem with a resilient woman who can hold
There
her
you
own and carry her own weight and so forth. The issue I take with it is when they do it and degrade men in the process of doing it. You don't have to do that part, or you don't have to deny your children or the children in your life access to men because you're angry or upset. That's
okay.
what I disagree with.
Okay, now that's an excellent point. You state you make state and make a very excellent point that sometimes not all women, but some women will deny access to the fathers of their children because of whatever may be going on. I don't know, but whatever may be going on in their lives, or lack of support, lack of child support, or because they just maybe can't have that man as a beau or a husband or whatever any longer. So they do those type of things, and you're right, that is wrong. That is the wrong way to handle things. That is absolutely incorrect. Kimberly, what are your thoughts? We'll get you in this conversation.
Oh yeah, I like what Kia said about Jeffrey being needy because that is a great point. I've been trying to put a word on her. Mine was easy, but I like needy better. I don't understand why Andre tried to act like he was struggling between the choice of Cynthia and Jeffrey because I don't think he had a true chance with Cynthia. I think Cynthia was just holding on to him to stay around because
Okay.
if
Was she being
if she would.
strategic, Kimberly? Was she being
Yes,
strategic,
she
playing the game?
was being
Okay.
very strategic, and I'm proud of my girl. I like Cynthia.
Yay,
Um,
Cynthia.
yeah. So I was side eyeing both of them when they acted like they had a choice to make because to me the choice was clear.
It was clear.
Yeah.
And why would she prefer Anthony over Dre, in your opinion?
I think Anthony is more stable. He already has that experience being a parent, like a
Yes.
first-hand parent, not really a step parent. And I think that
Hmm.
he is just more available and ready for marriage to a woman who already has children.
Okay. Okay. That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. He already knows what it takes to be a father. You're right. You're right.
Mhm.
And isn't he? I think he's also Anthony is the one who is also he's a nurse practitioner, and isn't he also divorced? Right? I believe.
Possibly, I don't remember.
Okay, possibly. Okay, okay, no problem, no problem. Um, let's see. Okay. So, cute Tommy, because Tommy enters in, Uncle Cousin Nephew Tommy. He got to enter in very dramatic, and everybody's got to cheer and clap. Yay, Tommy, Tommy. He says that there are some life-changing decisions that may occur, and the women are to introduce the men to their family. And this is the last test of ready to love. I don't know how my impersonation
so
is,
so
but
dramatic, so
so
dramatic.
dramatic, so dramatic. Well, that's Tommy for you. That's Tommy for you. And you know what? I have to say, this season, Tommy has been looking so darn handsome and just delicious. It's a good thing he's a married man, but he has been looking really good. I don't know if it's the new diet that he is on or this
That's what I
health
think.
regimen, but because his skin is glowing, he is positive. He's always been a nice looking man, but I mean, I think he dropped a few pounds and he just looks good. He looks like he's at his best fighting weight that we've seen him in probably all 7, 8 seasons of Ready to Love, including The Last Resort. He looks really, really good.
Yeah, I think after this illness he battled, he really changed his lifestyle as far as probably the things he eat. He probably works out more regularly, and battling an illness will do that. You start facing your mortality, and you beat it. You like, oh, I got to do some stuff different because it's scary. So I think that's what Tommy's doing, and he does look good. He did drop some weight.
He did. He dropped some weight. I mean, he's looking even better in his clothes. He's like I said, he's always looked good. I'm not saying that he ever was, not looking good, but like, if he was a 9, he's like 11 now. He just looks fabulous. And I don't know, maybe it's the weather, maybe but he lives in Texas, I believe. So I don't know. It's, the difference between the Texas weather, Florida weather, because they're both warm. So, um, Right.
But
It's really awesome. Oh, shush up, Monique. Talking about she thought Tommy had joined the panel. She thought
You
he was
did
on the
good. You did
podcast.
good.
Was I good? Was I that good, girl? Even Roro says I've got Tommy down pat. You guys are a mess. I ain't playing with y'all today. I'm not playing with y'all. But anyway, let's see where we are. Okay, so later on, now we're on the date. Um and she says she has to help. Cynthia is saying that she has to try to. She's torn between Anthony and Dre. She says that she thinks that she could help Dre to be a better person. But, again, like I said, I'm not really buying that. Like, I think, you find people and you accept people for who they are, when and where you find them. And if you're not ready to deal with them as they are, you should probably just move on.
Mhm.
We get to the dates, and Morgan's brother Harry. I think the two of them, you can see the family resemblance between Morgan and her brother Harry. But Harry, he is very direct, and he is playing no games when he meets Tony. And the first thing he basically says, and you'll appreciate this, Alex, he says, "Yeah, I hear you're a New Yorker. And we know that New Yorkers are full of aggression and jealousy. And we know this about you. It's in your DNA." And much to my surprise, Tony never denies it. He admits that he has bumped heads with Lyndon, and they have bumped head over Morgan, but he is a better man and that he will do better. This is what he is saying. What are your thoughts about this, Kia?
How did I know you were gonna call me? So
Mm, you know I'm coming
Morgan,
right over there to you, girl.
and y'all know I've been gone for a long time. Um, so
Wait a minute. While you get your thoughts together, let me do this little a quick little 10-second promo. This young lady right here, Kia Simone, also happens to have a channel which my lovely moderator extraordinaire Monique King has done uh, 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 the treat of putting that up on the screen. And then I also want to say that Kia also does the most dramatic and most lovely thumbnails, artistic openings. She did my opening, and she has also done mostly all of my thumbnails for our special guests and our sit down conversation. So you can go ahead and give her applause.
Yay, go Kia.
Yay. All right. So now you've had a chance to get your thoughts together. Go.
um, okay. So with Tony and Morgan, Morgan's brother pretty much, your family knows you. My brother, he knows, me. He knows what type of men I'm attracted to. He knows what his sister is when I'm on my shenanigans. So, Morgan demonstrated a lot of, she took me out with the whole Nair. So the
Yeah.
brother knows
With the nair in the hair. Yes, the nair in the
so
hair.
your
Oh, yeah.
brother, like I said, knows what type of person that you're dealing with. So she probably should have set this whole season out. She, all that crying, that grand finale when she, broke, I guess told Tony she wasn't going away with him at the end. I think I don't know what she was here for. So I don't know if she was here just to read people because she was going in on Natasha. What's the other guy? With the high top fade. She just was like, she just
I'm talking about Lyndon.
yeah, so I wasn't really paying attention to what her brother because I've been counting her out because I just think she was like came off as the mean girl. So it was just like, why are you like interested in reading people and telling everybody business? Like, and then just to go back to like episode 1 or 2, you remember she said she's never been in love.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right.
So
She
that's
did.
still like, like, okay, so you've never been in love before, but you come on the show ready to love. So the show's gonna help you ready to love in 2 months. So
That was always a red flag for me.
exactly.
Okay.
So I counted her out when she said that when they was at the little picnic when they was on the grass and she's saying, and I guess she's a cute girl. Tony was, thinking with his other, head.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
he was
yeah.
thinking like, okay. And I just didn't see any depth there.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
I kind
Here's
of see
the
Morgan differently. But go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
yeah. But here's the thing, Kia, Aubrey, and Kia. Welcome. I haven't talked to you in a while. I do follow your channel religiously. I kind of missed you on these YouTube streets, but it's good to see you.
Yes, thank you.
But here's the thing that bothers me with Morgan. Okay, apparently this thing with Tony and Natasha bothered her so much. About Tony bothered her, but all throughout the season she continued to fight for him and fight for him and fight for him. And I'm like, why? You know, only to end up the way they ended up, which we'll get to. But at the lunch with her brother's like, listen, we know how New Yorkers are. Yes, New Yorkers are very aggressive, angry people. Okay. I'm not too sure about the jealousy, but we're very aggressive and angry people. And
Mm-hmm.
we don't trust people. We don't trust anybody because every kind of scam you can imagine on earth
Mm-hmm.
is in New York. Okay.
Yes.
So there's no trust for people. But Morgan brother has to know his sister too. Your sister is angry, manipulative, aggressive. To do the things that she did with the Nair and to plan it out, to look on how can I not be arrested for doing
Right.
this?
That's what
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
saying, Alex. In my heyday, my brother knew when I was on shenanigans. And you know what I'm saying? Like my brother knows like my thought process. He know when I'm like, when the wheels on my butt's going round and round. And he knows when, I'm,
The wheels of a bus.
being sincere. My brother knows.
They
So
know.
he counts, stuff out. Like, when his friends like, oh, your sister's cute. He be like, you don't want her.
They know. So her brother is busy talking to Tony like, he don't want none of this smoke or whatever the case is. Okay, all well and good, but you got to check your sister too. You got to check
Right.
your sister too.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, she holds some of the blame. To your point, she holds some of the blame. But let's get Kimberly in here. Kimberly, what are your thoughts about the whole Tony and Morgan shenanigans?
I just think the brother was trying to play it safe for his sister because I think he was more concerned about her well-being with Tony. I do see the jealousy and aggression, and him knowing how his sister is. He probably knows that we would have seen them on the news at some point. If you get what I'm trying to say,
Yes.
because she's still too happy about the nair and the hair thing. It's like she hasn't grown. There is no maturity surrounding that situation. So who's to say she wouldn't do that again or research something else that she could do that would keep her, out of jail or whatever. So no, I think the brother was like, no, this is not the one. I think she needs someone like Lyndon who she can kind of maneuver and I hate to say control, but kind of manipulate a little more.
Okay.
Kimberly,
Okay.
I think she needs to be alone, okay? And Tony, no one, because no one's safe around her. Because again, I don't think that was cute. I don't care if you did it in that because you still think it's hilarious. You didn't take
Well,
accountability.
right. That's
Right,
that's the
right,
thing that she could have done it in her 20s or teens, but I mean, here she is. She just did it recently. A and B. She apparently still thinks at her big old age that this is funny.
right.
Thank you.
Ooh,
And
ooh, we
so
don't.
poor Lyndon would have been, probably over there we would have started day drinking, okay? So Morgan just need to sit it out.
Tea drinking.
Brother should have pulled her to the side and be like, listen, sis, let's have a real heart to heart.
Mm-hmm.
You're not ready to love. Because it's obvious she's never
Mm.
been in love before. And then again, that causes stress to your brother because a real brother does not want to see you in danger. So let's say that Nair situation
Right,
left. What else did she do? So when you do that as a woman, you're causing drama into your family members or people, the men in your life that love you, because it's hard for them to
Right.
stand by and see things happen to you because every man is not going to take that line down. Like our hair is our crown and our glory.
Yeah.
Take this in. Even men sometimes feel some
Well,
way about their
yeah.
hair. So
And
that could
could
have
you
went off.
imagine poor Tony, who has nice hair but is starting to lose a few spots? Could you imagine how he would
yeah,
feel if he lost all his hair? And at his point, sometimes when you're losing hair, you burn the scalp with this caustic, basically lye that she's putting on your scalp. It may never even grow back. So, could you imagine? I don't
That's
think Tony would take that too politely.
that's what I'm saying, Sherry. I had an incident at a beauty salon where they, basically had a little bald spot in my head. And I literally went like ballistic. Like I can't. It was like the size of a nickel, and I went crazy. So could you imagine her taking
Oh,
all this?
wow.
And it
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
in a
I
spot that
can't.
people could see, but I saw it. So could you see,
Right.
that situation? The man wake up and his hair is slowly falling out.
No.
And here's the other elephant in the room. It's like,
What's
okay,
that?
we focusing on the nair and everything like that. But we have to just look at Morgan and say, this is how you handle things when you're in a crisis situation. Because I always say that when people are in crisis situations, that's when their true self really, really come out. Okay.
Yeah.
So if she's in a crisis, is she
Mhm.
gonna burn the house down? Is she gonna bash up and key your car and bust your windows out your car like Jasmine Sullivan? Is she gonna burn the house down like Lisa Left Eye Lopez? I mean, what is she
Anyway.
gonna do?
I'm with you, Alex, because what else we don't know? You know what I'm saying? I had a friend like that, and she would do crazy stuff, and I had to like distance myself from her because I'm like, she kind of cray cray, like for real. Like that's
Right.
not
And
normal, sis.
the company that you keep, that's what you I think that's some of what you become. I would be with you like on that like that, Kia.
Yeah, we grew up
And I
together, but when she started doing stuff, I said, "Oh
yeah.
no."
Yeah, yeah, and you never know somebody's throwing something back at her, be it punches, be it something else, or be it something that we don't like to talk about the pow pow on the YouTube streets. Like my mother used to say, those pow pow things don't have no they don't have no name on them. So who they hit, they might be aiming for her, and they might hit you. You sitting next to her, hanging out at the Coney Island. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Mhm.
But as we move forward, Tony says in his confessional that Morgan has been telling her, he can tell that Morgan has been telling her brother things about him, and that that's not the point though. Tony talks about his entanglement with Natasha earlier, and then my thought was that, yeah, Tony, why you saying all of these things like as if they're nothing for the rest of us as the viewing audience, bloggers and viewers alike, it's just one red flag after another with you. I saw him coming. Now Tony's the guy that when I was younger I'd be in the nightclub. He was the guy that I would see from across the room with the W on his forehead. I'm not going to tell you what the W stands for, but it ends with an E. You can put it together, okay?
But Aubrey, the football
What?
field, what they say, the football field, the red flag was the size of the football field. Who I
Yeah,
don't
oh,
know who said
yes,
it.
yes,
But
exactly.
let's
But
go
I'm
here
saying,
with Tony.
but some
Mm-mm.
guys, don't you just, am I the only lady like that? Or you ladies that are out there in the chat, or you watching on the replay, type it in the comment section and let me know. I mean, when you were younger, or even, I don't know if you're 25, 35, or 45, 55, but can't you spot these guys? Like, for example, they're kind of like all like from, who was that? John Travolta from that famous movie where he was disco dancing. What was the name of that movie, guys? Help me out, Alex.
Oh, yeah, Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever, where he had that satin shirt on and the extra buttons was open in his chest. Isn't Tony always walking around with that extra button on his shirt open? That's the clear
True.
sign of a play. Okay.
But
Have you not missed it? Like the pimps and the players, like, do you not know the signs of what they look like? I mean, they haven't changed in like 40, 50 years. The extra button on the shirt, don't wear no undershirt. I love a man. I love a man. I don't know. Now, this may be from military days or men, but I love a man that wears an undershirt. I'm sorry. Is that boring or
so
what? But I
no,
love a man with an undershirt on. Okay. All right. You do not have to have that extra button, because to me, that extra button is for us later on in the evening when we're all alone.
yeah, to me that was dated, but
It's
okay, like
very dated, but Tony's still
it,
doing it because he an old playboy.
but that's what he wanted to do.
He's an
But
old school player.
The old
I just
school
want to
player.
add this. So I think Morgan is just the type of person who, like, because she said that something with the Nair, she likes to do the grand finale and have the last say. But I think she was
Mm,
done. Like I said, I think she knew about the Natasha stuff. But when he embarrassed her at that table, that's what
yeah.
did it for me. So I actually text one of my male friends, was like, okay, why is he kissing and telling? I don't care who you're trying to get back at. That's what took me out about Tony. Tony did a lot of stuff, but that moment at that table when you like, and I kissed her. I don't care if it was just a kiss. It was an intimate kiss, and maybe I didn't want everyone to know. And for you to put me
Ooh.
on blast like that, what else did
Oh,
you
oh,
say?
the three kisses. Not three times, four times, five times, six times I kissed her. When he talks about that, oh yeah, I
Exactly at the
forgot.
table. So you did
Oh
it to get back
yes.
at what's the other guy name? I can't think of his name.
Lyndon.
And
Linda.
so you did it to get back at another man, but that right there sealed it for me. Put the nail in the coffin for me for Tony, because any man that kisses and tell at this, what you say, old age, I can't.
Big old age,
So
girl,
that was,
like he a teenager.
so for you to just be sitting there next to me like I'm not even here, like I'm invisible, and say what you did, oh my goodness. So at that point, again, I think Morgan was done. But again, I think she just likes to do the grand finale and have the last say, and just do the grand exit.
Right. And I think there's something we're going to talk about it when we get to that part. There is something that he said also at that table that really turned her off too, about someone being able to have her if Marcia had still been in play, that
Yeah.
Lyndon could have her basically. So to me, that says that she was not, for all his lying and saying that from day one she was always his number one. That's a whole big old bald face lie. Big old bald face lie.
Mhm.
So, but as we move forward, and I'm gonna skip over the other note that I have for Tony about how he drops the God card to the brother. We're gonna smooth past that because we know he likes to drop God a lot and he loves the Lord and hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. And then, he's just over here in all these entanglements. But we move on to Cynthia plus three. Cynthia plus three ladies, a sister and I think two cousins, I believe. And I want to know something because, like Cynthia, I love her. I think she is so drop dead gorgeous. But I want to know something, guys. Why is Cynthia always getting so emotional in these scenes? Like, what really happened between her and that ex of hers that, like, she had to
Mm-hmm.
pull herself out of? Because she's saying she can handle him now, but I'm wondering, can she really? Because why is she always so emotional?
Or,
Why?
Yeah.
or if women cry, that's your thing.
No,
You
no,
know,
it's
Oh
not.
no, it's
It may be
deeper.
it may be one woman's thing, but I think when you make that general statement, it's really absolutely not. I'm crying when somebody is dying, like miss me with that because I'm not a person that cries very easily. So no, it's
mm,
it's, it's
mm.
something going on there, and it kind of almost put me in the mind of Alex. Do you remember last season? Who was that? Shakira, who was always crying.
Always crying, always crying. Yeah.
Like, so it
Mm.
makes me wonder, and I don't feel like she's emotionally unstable, but I'm just saying there's so much baggage from her past. Like, what did that
She's
ex of
hurt.
hers do? What did he
Yeah,
do?
I think she's hurt. She's hurt. It's coming from a place of hurt and
Yes.
a place that she don't want to visit again.
Okay.
And she wants to trust her heart with somebody again, but she's
Okay.
afraid to. So that fear and all that anxiety is coming out in tears because she wants to make the right decision. But let's face it, you never really know until you're in it. Because everybody puts up a good presentation, they could do that thing, and as we find out later on, we'll discuss it with the reunion with Andre and Jeffrey. That's another story, okay? But
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
so the presentations can be great, but you never really know once you're in it and you're living with somebody and you're sharing your life and you're sharing dinner and you're doing it. Now you're really in it, and then you start seeing things that you didn't see before. You're paying attention more, So that's what she's afraid of. That's a whole fear thing. She wants to be, because I think out of all the women left, I would choose Cynthia. I would choose
Yeah,
Cynthia.
I see her now. Like, I don't know where she was hiding. Like, I saw her in the beginning. I thought she was so beautiful. She reminded me of a young Thelma from Good Times. Like, when I first saw her, I was like, oh, she's so beautiful, like natural beauty. She don't need no whole face caked on makeup. She is just naturally beautiful. But I didn't see her personality, so it wasn't her beauty. But I wanted to see more personality because to me, a person is nothing without their personality and their character. But now, as she's been showing more of her personality and her character, I'm like, yeah, she is lovely. She is absolutely lovely. But I just wonder about her past, and I hope that she's done the work to heal, and that also that she keeps that ex out of things too, because I feel like he's just problematic. And she says he isn't, and she can handle him, but I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that ex did something to hurt her and she hasn't gotten over it yet. Because just look at his personality and the way he was with these two strange men. He was too aggressive. And I believe he gave Cynthia a lot of that same energy. And
Sure.
she's just not over it yet.
Sure, sure. He was probably problematic. And as Alex has pointed out on our earlier conversations on this, is that, he doesn't want any man to have her. He's trying to run all the men off. Alex, can you read what Stay Tuned says here on the screen?
The Stay Tuned says, what did he do? Ha ha. You saw how he came off with Andre and Anthony, and he just met them. Imagine how he
Exactly.
was with Cynthia the whole time. Yeah, just imagine her living with that daily.
Hmm.
Hmm. Wow. Yeah, that's what I say. I don't think she can handle him because I think if she was in the process and another round, Jay from another round. I don't know if you're still in here. Chime in if you are. She's normally on the panel, and she would say, "Well, she can handle him. She can handle him." She said that last week, but you know what, Jay? I don't really agree with you on that. I feel like maybe it was some shenanigans from the camera, but I feel like that was just really who he genuinely was. Was it amped up a little for the camera, or was it tapped down a little bit? I feel like it was tapped down a little bit because there's probably a lot more that he could have said that he couldn't say on a PG-13 channel. So I don't know. I just feel like that's the man who he is. He's used to getting in people's faces. He used to bucking up to other men. And I don't think that most average men, like we talked about before, a man is not going to allow another man to buck up to him. He's going to do one or two things. He's going to walk totally away from the situation, or he's going to want to fight that man. Men don't play
Mhm.
fight. Men don't do what women do with all this back and forth, back and forth. No, they don't do that. They really
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I don't do a whole lot of talking. Once we get to a critical mass situation, I'm
Right.
done with the talking.
Right. Nobody
You
gonna
know.
sit up there and let you another man gonna let you disrespect and emasculate him. They're not gonna do it. I know black men. I know the ones that are quiet and unassuming, but they will not take that type of a challenge. Nobody is gonna put up with that, Cynthia. If you happen to be listening, and by the way, we would love to have you come over and interview on He Says, She Says. Alex and I would love to have you here. But honestly, sis, you got to get that man under control because there's no way he may be the father. He's the father of your children, but there's no way that in your life he should just be like so dominant. Like, why? Why is he dominant? Unless you guys are going to get married, then you don't even need to be on the show.
But how many women look back at the guys they had children with, and they look back and they be like, "What the hell was I thinking?" It's like you get an epiphany or something. It's like, what was I thinking being with this fool? But now I got children with him, so I got to deal with this. And that's painful. Because
Hmm.
that's a mistake. That's a mistake you live with. Not that the children are mistakes, but
No,
the error in who you had children with lives with you for years, probably the rest of your life.
it does, but I really think that, and see, like you talked about a moment ago about women being emotional, and I don't know, maybe that's my being brought up by a military man and my understanding and being a daddy's girl. I'm cut and dry about a lot of things. So you could be the father of my child or children, but what you're not going to do is run my life. We're going to co-parent, and we're going to co-parent as mature adults, and then you're going to stay the heck out of my life other than that, because unless you're planning on marrying me and unless I want to be married to you, you have no say so about where I go, what I do. As long as it's not direly affecting our children, you know, stand down, sir. Stand down. That's a
Mhm.
military term. Means stay out my business. Okay.
Right.
Because that's not what you're gonna do. And I don't care. I think the thing with Cynthia seemed to be that they've known each other since they were kids. And a lot of people make this mistake. They have relationships with people they knew as children, and now the relationship is over, and they know that they can never be together because of this, that, or the third. But you still allow this person to dictate your life. I'm sorry, no way. You don't do that.
Mm.
Learn how to say no and walk away and say this is the compartment that you fill in my life. You fill the co-parent compartment, and that's it. That's all.
Yeah, no is a full and complete sentence in case nobody knew that.
Yeah, thank you. Fist bump through the virtual air. Fist bump.
Yep.
I mean, you just really, because with men, here's the thing: what I know about men, women have to be cut and dry with men, the exes in their lives, because the minute you leave question, like Alex just said, no is a complete sentence. The minute you leave room for any error, the average man is always testing his boundaries with you, because here's what men like to do: they like to have spares, and so you will be considered a spare as long as you allow him to consider you a spare. Any man that I've ever broken up with, he's very clear on the fact that it's over with, because I'm not taking his calls. He's not coming by my house. I'm not calling him. I'm not texting him. And 9 out of 10, his number has been blocked, and all social media has been blocked also. I'm very cut and dry. Now, this is where I become like Blake on this show.
Ah,
Would
your
you?
boy Blake. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. And that's why I can relate to him and I can see him, but I also see that he takes that also out a little further out into his relationships, though. And that's where it's not, that's where it doesn't jive with me. You see what I'm saying? This is
Hmm.
my, this is my Blake when I'm done with you. But when I'm not done with you, if I'm courting you, you're courting me, we're in a relationship or I'm getting to know you, it's not cut and dry. I leave room for shades of gray. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But you have to know how to turn that switch on and off, and I can turn it on and off because when I'm done, that's it. It's over. You don't get a second chance. I don't do back and forth. That's not gonna happen.
I love goes.
Anyway, back to these cards. So Dre shows up to this Cynthia. Cynthia's cleaned up the tears off her face, she's back looking as flawless and beautiful as ever. Dre shows up, he got the tendril, Dre the tendril. He shows up for Cynthia. He says in his confessional, and this is what another thing I didn't like about Dre with Cynthia. He said that she's a tough woman. And I was like, yuck. You said that about her, but yet you think
Right.
Jeffrey is so feminine, and you say that Cynthia is a tough woman, and that now you got to face three more tough women. Sir, I did not like you calling any black woman tough. I'm sorry. Even if she calls herself that, I just don't like it. Okay, I'm sorry. So that was a strike one for me right there. Um, Dre goes on to tell the cousins and the sister that he dated a 23-year-old. What is this guy? 40 years old almost, or what? And he's dating a 23-year-old with a child, but that I guess he was in this woman's life for 5 years, it sounds like, and he was like a stepdad. So maybe
Mhm.
that was working for him. I don't know. Anthony arrives too. Anthony is very cordial about introducing himself and explaining that he is a single dad. So he definitely relates to Cynthia. He has no problem stepping in, being a bonus dad, and that he really cares for her and the reasons why he likes her. So I think he definitely, I feel like in this instance, Anthony definitely presented well. Do we have anything? Uh, we're gonna go over here in the corner to Miss Kia Simone. What you got to say about Anthony?
So wait, can I go back to Cynthia? Because you just y'all, I was letting y'all talk. I didn't want to interrupt. So
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yes,
Yes. Yes.
I feel like Cynthia. I'm gonna have to give my girl Dr. Lola a shout out because her
Okay.
hashtag is soft life. Okay, that's what I've been putting on my all my posts. Hashtag soft life. So as a woman that
Mm,
is carrying a lot on their plate, a
mm-hmm.
lot of times when you get to a certain point in your life, you just be tired. You've been carrying all these bags like Erica Badu. You've been, career, all this stuff going on. However, her tears were too soon. So I get that you're tired because you want this, you're tired being strong. I get that, but you have to know where it's a safe place to fall. So when she was crying on that first date with poor was Andre, I'm like, girl, why is you crying? You don't even know that's a safe place to share your tears. It gets so emotional. I know it's a short process, but you can't
Mm,
just break down in front of everyone. You have to understand if that's a safe place. Um, so I think she's just tired. When she broke down to the Andre when she was in the competition with Jeffrey, basically saying like, I got this many degrees, I got this is. So she's tired. She got plenty of degrees. She got plenty of businesses. So poor Cynthia, I just think she's tired of just having this heavy load on her. And when it comes to this, she's just ready to find her person and settle down. But I think I forgot who said in the comments that she still probably has some more healing to do because again, with that, you're not gonna just be crying. If I go on a first date, I'm not gonna be sharing with you like, well, my dad did this and this. I'm not. You're not doing that on first date, second date, third date, fourth date. No, I gotta just get a feel for you. So I think there's some more
mm.
healing. I like her. I think she's a beautiful woman if she finds the right person, and hopefully Anthony is that soft place for her. But I think she opened up too fast, Andre.
Good point. Like the video. Did you have anything? That's an excellent point. I like what you said. I noticed that too, also going back, what you're saying about how soon she was able to open up and cry with him. Again, I don't consider myself a tough woman, a super black woman, but again, I'm going to vet you very carefully before I become vulnerable and express my needs and my wants and my soft spot to you. That's just as me. And that's also with friends and, like women friends, right? I'm not going to tell you my life story and give you ammunition of my past to tell you, and I just met you like 2 weeks ago. Like, what? Who does that?
Yeah,
Exactly.
and too much crying can prove that you're emotionally unstable or fragile. Which is can be a turn off.
It could be a turn off. Did anybody else, Kimberly, you down there? Did you want to address with Anthony your feelings about how he came across and how he presented on this date where you meet the family, Cynthia's family?
Oh yeah, Anthony did good. I think he is very polished and well put together. So I have no complaints about him on this date. I do think that he's a little laid back, maybe too laid back, but I think that's something he and Cynthia can work on. But Andre, his words about, like you said, her being tough, and then Andre also said that something like no one can be ready for Cynthia. I thought that was a jab. So I think Andre
Yeah.
did
What
terrible. He did terrible on this part.
do
He
you think
failed.
Kimberly? Yes, he did. I caught that too, and thank you for reminding me of that. What do you think he meant by that? I was so like, what?
Because
What do
I
you think
think
he
because
meant?
he's used to dating the early 20 girl and Cynthia's a grown woman.
Exactly,
Ooh.
Kimberly. Like I said, he picked Jeffries for a reason. Certain
Yes.
Mm.
men, and women, as women, we have to start beating ourselves up. Sometimes when guys, don't seem interested in us. Sometimes we're just too,
Hmm.
and sometimes they don't have to do as much work with a different type of woman. So I think
Yes.
that when she broke down her resume, he was like, okay, he already had signs, but he was like, okay, this one right here, she not to be played with. And Cynthia looked
Right.
like, just look at you and she know how to carry a conversation and get you together.
Hmm.
I had not thought about that. But you're right. I always think, and I used to tell my daughter when she was younger this, that, be careful, be wary of the older man. And, older for a young girl that's a young woman that's 20, 21, 22, just in college, just out of college, some 30-year-old man, that's much older. Now, 30 doesn't sound old, but it's older. It's worldly
Right.
experience. And now he's trying to capitalize on somebody that's naive, doesn't know the ways of the world, doesn't know, like, for example, how married men move. A lot of girls coming out of college because they've only dated high school and college boys who are all single for the most part. They don't know when they get out of this great big old world, these men are taking off rings, never wore rings, and they're out here looking for women, and they're not telling you that they're married. These men are not telling you that they're married or they're living with some woman, and yet they're out here steady dating you, calling their woman or their wife at home. Things are running late in the office. You know that line. We know, but the younger girls, younger women don't know that, so they get played
Mm.
all the time.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So that's go
lack
ahead.
of experience. Lack of experience to get you every time. Oh, I got a flat
Yes.
tire. Oh, I'm working late. Oh, my phone died. Or I was in a bad area. I couldn't get reception. All these things that are pre conjured up because it's just part of the game.
And one
Hmm.
Right,
thing,
right, and
uh,
you would know, wouldn't you, Alex? Tell them, magnetic.
don't
Listen,
get on Alex.
listen. This in New York and Brooklyn, I just ran that stuff, when I was younger, and that's just what it
Mm,
was,
yeah.
So you kind of I tell people all the time, it's not so much a lot of times the woman that's attractive to us. It's just the game that's strong. The game is strong, and until you get mature enough to say, I'm gonna stop hurting people. I'm gonna stop manipulating people, and that's when you start to come out of that. And then when you yourself gets hurt or devastated,
I
then
was
you'll
about to
know how it
say,
feels. You see
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
You can run across some other things too, but yep,
But I
that's
have to
one thing.
say,
Go ahead.
for
Mhm.
a man that plays those type of games, the most dangerous woman for him to have to deal with, or the woman that he doesn't want to deal with, is that woman that's been single for a minute, because she don't care about being single at that point, and a woman
Mhm.
that
Hmm.
woman that's been through a lot. Because once you've been through a lot, not too much move you. So Cynthia had that, like, she been through some things, like she been in the trenches. Like, I don't know what happened in her life, But Cynthia, not
Mm.
just with the ex, she's been through some stuff. So it just that's what she gives off. And so
Yeah.
when you have a woman that's been through that, because I had to tell one of my colleagues, and it wasn't even a date thing. I said, "Sir, you did not hurt my feelings. Nothing you can say to me because you're just a colleague is gonna move me. Let's talk about real life.
Break it down,
You know,
Ken,
when
because these
you've been
workmen,
through
that's all they are.
exactly like when you've been through divorce, death of parents, of a parent, you a lot of stuff don't move you, or you have major losses, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes men like to, puff that chest up. Sorry, Alex, you the only man on the panel. But sometimes they do. And when they see they can't try you, then they, back down. Now, the guy, he's cordial at work because I had to get him together. Like, you didn't hurt my
And I
feelings.
know you got him all the way together, kid, because I know you. Hey,
I said,
listen, this woman right here, this is my friend in real life. We live in the same city, we live in the same town. This is my friend in real life. Before YouTube ever came along, we was friends way back in the day. Day, you hear me? That's my friend
exactly.
right there. That's my girl. Okay,
So a
so you
guy
can't.
dating Kia,
Mhm.
you don't call. Okay, I'm not over here losing sleep. It
Girl,
doesn't move me. It's just like,
tell him.
okay, like it didn't
But
work out. Okay.
but how many women, Kia, and you hear this all the time? He's my work husband. You got a husband at home, but you got a
Mm.
guy at work that's special. This is my work husband. What is that about?
So that's dangerous, Alex. So again,
Monique,
we
stop.
know there's power in our femininity. Okay. So I had a work husband, but again, it was a game. Like I said, we know what game we're playing. And I knew that he had a little crush on me. And I just did it because I was, trying to make what I used to call him the husband upset. But it was a dangerous game. So
Yeah.
again, like one of my good friends, he always say, silly games, silly prizes. So again, I would never do that again because again, it does not serve a purpose. So you shouldn't have a work husband and a work wife because again, where is that going?
And you just said, Kia, a word I used previous, just a little while ago, the game. See, when the game is strong and you're having fun and getting it your way, it's fun until it turns on you and reverts back in your direction. That's when
Yes,
it's no
ma'am.
longer fun.
And it wasn't
Okay.
fun when the work husband touched me on my shoulder at an
What?
event when I was with my husband. So I was like, oh,
Ooh.
that's another
I
show.
know your husband was not going for none of that tomfoolery. See, like I said again,
Exactly.
men, the
So the
things
work
that men
husband,
do around women, just women alone, or when like maybe even your sister, they will not do it around your husband or your man. Oh, trust and believe that. A man is got a good enough sense to know what he can get away with and what he cannot. No, no, ma'am, no, sir. But listen, I gotta say this, so we're gonna get into this. So, what did you guys think about the cousin and the sister gave Anthony after Dre had excused himself now? Because we know his heart wasn't into this meeting up with the family. He ain't feeling Cynthia like that. He ain't ready, like Kia pointed out, to deal with no grown woman. He better stick to the 23 and the 22-year-old children that he's been dating. But the cousins give Anthony the challenge that okay, you're gonna protect our Cynthia, you're gonna be good to our Cynthia, or we will be have our foot all the way up in that. You know what I'm saying? What did you think about that? Because they really got kind of brought that masculine energy into the equation. Kimberly, what do you think?
I think it's coming from experience. In my head, I was like, oh, they said they let one get away, but they're not going to let two get away. And I think they were just brainstorming back to James, the way he treated Cynthia, because I'm not convinced that there wasn't something more going on in that relationship. A
Mm,
little, I have to watch my words, but I just feel
mm.
like they were saying, we're not going to let you treat her like James did.
Ooh, wait a minute. So you think her and James, the ex, are still having a hot and heavy time, or am I missing something?
No, I think he was just nasty, mean to her. I can't say
Ooh.
the words
Oh,
because
oh,
you know
oh,
how
oh, oh,
YouTube
okay. I
get.
got you. I got you. I'm catching what you're throwing at me. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I think there was a little too much. That's why I think she's still damaged.
Oh my goodness, my lord. Okay, well, Mercedes has her best friend Vanessa, which I thought, I don't know. To me, my thing is when these women, when they tell you to bring your family or somebody, and you bringing somebody your same old young age of 30 whatever, 31, 32, why you can't bring somebody with more wisdom and depth? I'm just
Hmm.
we saw this last year with last season with who was it? The very very beautiful girl that ended up with Swayze. Cadian. We saw this when she brought her friend and had her friend buck up to Kate Swayze, and that was a whole mess, right? So anyway,
Right.
Mercedes brings her best friend Vanessa, and I really didn't think she did a good job. I think that like she was kind of almost to me. I thought maybe I'm wrong, but I thought she was almost flirting with the old fine ours Mark Anthony. I was just like it was a hot mess. Like, why did you bring her? Don't you have a brother or a mother or somebody else? But maybe she
Aubrey
was in town. Maybe she was in town.
Mercedes did say her mother
Mhm.
was unavailable. She wanted to bring her mother, but she couldn't make it.
Okay, okay, but what about an aunt? I mean, I'm just saying. I know people sometimes have smaller families. Maybe she's not from that area because everybody seems to be mostly a transplant. But to me, I don't think if I'm bringing somebody to meet my man or potential man, and if they're available, like for example, my godmother, she's in her 70s. God bless her. We just had dinner today for Easter Sunday. She's coming because you know what, just like my mother is gone on into glory now, but my mother could read people. She could read them. You see what I'm saying? I don't need a girlfriend because she knows just about as much as I do. I need somebody with
Right.
wisdom, and wisdom comes with age and experience and from up above.
And
I
also,
agree.
also too, those on the outside looking in can see more when you're too close to the situation. You
Okay,
know,
yeah,
yeah.
but did I miss something, or was the girlfriend Vanessa almost flirting with Mark Anthony? Because that's what I saw. Did anybody else see that, or did y'all see something different?
You know, I it
Hmm.
kind of looked like it to me a little bit. I think she's very impressed with his looks, obviously. You
Yeah,
know.
and then I
Yeah.
was yeah. I mean, who wouldn't be? I'm sure if I see it on the screen how gorgeous he is, I can only imagine. I've seen some of my favorite actors and models in person when I was in New York, and it's a real thing when you see the beauty in person 3D is astonishing. But I mean, I'm just not going to be enamored with a man's look. It's to me, it's not like that's not the thing about a man. A man has
Mm-hmm.
to be so much deeper than that. But
Yeah.
anyway, what did you guys think about Mark Anthony when he talked about the red flag, about this whole idea of he's converting back and forth from New York City to Miami, and he wants a woman to bounce around with him like that, like for real? Like for
Bounce
real. Like
around.
I'm like, what that no, that's what that's what he said. Travel. I'm sorry, travel back and forth from New York
I
City to
don't.
Miami. And he said that he would like it if she was available. I'm like, well, dude, is you slipping a ring on her finger? Who is wasting their precious 20s and 30s bouncing around from New York City to Miami with you like that? Like for real? Is that what
I
they
don't
doing
know.
nowadays? Is that what they
Yeah,
doing?
I think they are doing it for way less. I mean, I'm sure they've already had some experience in the bedroom, and he's not even. They don't even have the title of girlfriend and boyfriend. You know.
Ooh, see, y'all. She said it, guys. I didn't say it, but hey,
But my
that's
thing
what
is, she's
y'all
a
doing
flight attendant.
nowadays, huh?
Yeah, she's a flight attendant, so she's already bouncing around, right? I don't
I,
know how that
I'm saying, but she
works.
does it for work though. But he's like saying it like, okay, like like Shaq. Like if I have something up here in Memphis, Kirsten, I want you to travel with me because I'm only going 3 hours away and I'm only doing my job. But I need somebody in the back of the room clapping their hands and jumping up and down, holding signs saying, "Go
Right.
Shaq, go Shaq." Really? Is that what we're really doing in our 30s for real? But at least he's married to Kirsten. I'm just saying, this guy, y'all ain't even in a relationship yet, and he's asking you to do that. Like, really?
But it
Is
worked.
that
I think I'm looking at it from the point of
oh, how you
my
looking at
girl
it?
Joy and Clifton.
Oh, okay, okay. Go ahead, go ahead. Tell me what it is.
Oh,
Tell me what it is.
yeah, I think it's kind of like Joy and Clifton. If I think they said they went back and forth every weekend. Clifton went to Mexico to be with Joy. So to me, Miami to New York really isn't that long of a flight. Something that couldn't be manageable for a period of time if you're very interested. But to me, I just see that they were not wanting to go forward with this relationship because anytime you let distance be a problem and you're already at this age and you're struggling to find someone, and now
Hmm.
you find someone who halfway meets what you want, and now the deal breaker is distance.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, okay. When you put it in that, if you put it in that vein and you shape it and narrate it like that, okay. So you're saying that that should not be a issue. Especially, you're right. She's a flight attendant. But I guess what I'm thinking. This is me. Okay. So when do
Yeah.
we know? Do we set some kind of timeline that at a certain point we're going to have some when we're having discussions along the way? Because what I find is that far too frequently women end up in their late 30s. They done dated this guy and did what he's
Yes.
asking them to do, bouncing back and forth from New York to Miami
Yes.
because she's a flight attendant. And now 5 years later, she's now
Oh
39 or
no. Oh
38,
no.
no kid and no ring. And now he done moved on to the 23-year-old. You see what I'm
Oh
saying?
no. I'm
Because
not dating anybody.
a man can always make a baby. A woman having one is a whole nother story.
Yes.
No,
No, I give it 6 months. I'm not dating more than 6 months without a ring.
Okay, there we go. That's what I'm trying to think. Kia, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
so
Explain
we
it.
don't have
Explain it
all
to
the
me.
details. It something deeper happened because like we all know she's a flight attendant. So she did mention in the closing that she needed stability. So there was something that she needed that she wasn't get that she didn't feel that she can get from him. And she was just like, you know what, let me just cut my losses. I'm still, I think she's they're the younger ones in the group. So I think that she was
Okay.
just like, it's okay, like, okay, you're not able to offer me stability. And even though, again, she's a flight attendant, still, I like stability. I don't
Me
even
too.
move my furniture around the house. People that move their stuff, like, no, I want this dresser to stay right here. I like stability.
Right,
Me
right. You
too.
and I like right. We think alike, but I do see what the point that the younger people, what you guys are saying about her being a flight attendant. Give it 4 to 6 months, let it marinate a little bit. But I just seen people let things marinate, in 4 months turns into 4 years, turns into 6 years, turns into your eggs is just disintegrating, and his sperm is still good, but you in this relationship and now it's over. And like I said, he gonna end up with the 25-year-old, and what are you
Mhm.
gonna be doing? I think women really have to be more selfish about their timeline. If they're really interested in eventually becoming mothers, becoming wives, I think what we really have to do is become more a little bit more serious about these timelines. You know,
Mhm.
I
And
think.
and
Go ahead.
and here's the thing too, Aubrey. It's like, you get a guy like Mark Anthony who's very nice looking. Mercedes is gorgeous as well, right? But let's say
Yes.
a guy like Mark Anthony. Let's say, for instance, he has a very healthy drive or a very high drive. Okay,
Okay.
and he's seeing her, once every couple of weeks. Maybe 3 days out of a month, whatever. I mean, temptation eventually will get the best of somebody like him because a guy like Mark Anthony don't have a problem getting women. That's not one of his issues.
Not at all. Not at all. Not even in the least bit.
So that's when the distance could play a part with the temptation.
Yes, and
Oh.
I, stated, Alex, we don't know the deep conversations or the conversations behind the scenes because, people can say some stuff and then you like, okay, red flag, or that's not going to work for me. For me, I was just laughing with my cousin. I said, well, if I get remarried, there's no way that I will be having a kid. Like, I can't even stay up for 8 hours straight to work. Like, so, at this old age, like,
And by the way, this sister here is clocking the big checks. The big checks. Okay. So okay.
stop laughing. Sorry. But that
I
that
ain't
would be a
playing.
deal
Ask me
breaker.
if I'm playing, but go ahead.
So I've told when a guy starts talking to me, he's interested. Let me tell you right away. Uh, now I don't like to cook, but I will cook every now and then. But if you meet, a woman that you expecting to have kids with at this old age, I can't help you. Um, I even try to think about even adoption. I thought about that. I was like, I can't even do that because again, I can't stay up for long periods of time. I can't help with the home.
Oh,
My
Kia, now come on now. Come on. You would make a great mother. This lady right here, she would make a great mom.
I
She would make
get
a
it, but
great
what
mom.
I'm saying is these are conversations. So, if we like, maybe change around later on, but I'm just telling you at this point in my life, it's a no go.
Hmm.
And it's been this way for about 5 years. So it's certain conversations that you have to have with people, when you start because you don't want to hurt people, because feelings get involved. Like Kimberly said, 6 months, you gotta tell me something, sir. So feelings get involved. Now you're in love with this person, or you falling in love with this person, and then you didn't have those real conversations. So we, need to
Mhm.
have those real conversations and, decide if we need to move on because I got a lot of guy friends that are awesome, amazing, but they've never been married, they don't have kids, so I'm not the one for you. People like, do you like him? It was a no go for me once I realized you want kids. and you want to watch.
Oh, okay. They still wanted children. And what were the age?
Yes.
What were the general age range of some of these wonderful guys that you're speaking of? Like, were
Um,
they in their 30s, 40s, or 50s, or what?
so late 30s, early 40s.
Okay. And may I ask, did these gentlemen already have one or two children, or were they without any children at all?
So two of them had no children at all. They
Wow.
focused on their careers.
Mm-hmm.
Very intelligent men, very kind, but
Mm-hmm.
they've never been married, and they want
Okay.
to have a family. So I'm like, well, in my mind, I put up that that no go. We're just awesome friends now.
Okay, okay, I hear you. I hear you.
Mm.
I just had in my notes, I said, you know what? He's asking her to do all this bouncing back and forth between New York City and Miami. The next thing you know, he will be asking her to also have sister wives too. I don't know if you guys caught it. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know if you guys caught it. But a week ago, when his brother was talking to a Mercedes, he was also saying, "Okay, so do you need to be married? Can it just be a relationship?" Da 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 da. You see where I'm going with all of this?
Yeah.
You know, men are they want to play semantics games oftentimes with whether they want to be married or not, because they want to say, well, we can be coupled, we can be like we're married. This whole thing now that this whole younger generation is doing, they call themselves married when they've never been to a courthouse, never been in front of a pastor or a preacher, never been in front of an actual officiant, never filed actual legal papers to be married, but they want to run around and call themselves married. And that's all fine and good until down the road when something happens to one of them, life insurance comes into question, property rights come into question, paternity comes into question, all of these things that come into question because that little piece of paper, what? Is legally binding.
Yeah, they
Now,
It's
want to. They, yeah, they.
so I don't know because it's hard to get out of that contract. But
well, yeah, okay,
I'm,
okay.
joking. I'm joking.
I'm gonna keep my mouth closed
No,
right
I'm
now
joking.
because there's a whole lot going on unspoken on this panel. But
No,
okay, all right.
I would get married again. But you did bring
Would
up
you
a
do
good
that?
point.
Would you take the plunge again, sis?
Yes, I absolutely would. I tell if you're dating me, I'm not girlfriend and I'm not all these different date type of woman. I am marriage material. I am marriage minded.
Hey.
So when I date you, that's what I was about to touch on with you. People need
Mm-hmm.
to have these conversations again and don't settle for what you don't really want. So if you come in a situation like with Mark Anthony, he's saying, "Was it that important? You know that marriage is your goal. Don't switch up if you're going to end up being miserable." So when people have the things that they like, I get compromised, but why are you compromising something that you want so early in the game? When you learn early on, what this person wants and what you want, and if there's too big of a gap, just keep it moving and go somewhere else before the feelings get involved. Because
That's
again,
what I'm looking at. You got to be
you
very
know,
careful with these relationships because as Alex has pointed out many times, a lot of time with women, our hearts are attached to our bodies. And when we get intimate with a fellow and we're doing this hot and heavy thing over and over and over and over again, then we say, oh, we just trying it out and we can be like men, but really we can't. Your feelings get involved, and then the next thing you putting air in his hair. That's the next thing you putting some nair in his hair. You messing around because I can bounce back and forth. Yeah, I'm a flight attendant. It's free for me, but is your heart free? Is your heart free, and is your heart trivial? Because if it's not trivial, quit treating it like it's trivial.
Mm.
Your
or
heart is one of the most important organs in your body.
and the worst disservice we can do to ourselves is thinking we can change a person. Like you said, if someone is adamant that they don't want to do something, and then you think, well, he haven't met Kia, so in 2 years, I'm nagging him about something that he said from the beginning that he didn't want to do. That doesn't make sense. That's insanity. So at the end of the day, we just have to be, real with ourselves. Can you deal with that? Like again, I don't, guys that have 3 children, when my cousin asked me, well, what if they're by the same mother? I said, I can't do 3 little ones. Like, girl,
Mm-mm. No.
He
I was like,
said he got 3 children. He wants you to be the bonus mom. Is that what he
no,
was
no, no.
saying?
We were talking about, dating. And so she was like, if they were 3 by the same mother, young children, could I do it? And I said, not necessarily. I said, because my house is not set up for 3 little children. Glass everywhere, it's too much. And not just the house. you just have to know what your lifestyle, you just have to be real with yourself and have those real, that's that self-awareness before you even start dating anyone. So a lot of times we do need to take that period. And I've been single for a long time. And so I took that time to get to know what I like, what are my likes, what are my dislikes, and what, more about myself before I add another person to my equation.
Okay, very good, very good. You know what? I think Stay Tuned said he's having a Freudian slip there because he said Monique can sell her bath water. Our beautiful Monique over here as moderator extraordinary. She could sell her bath water by the gallon. And then he wanted to turn around and say, but I meant to say Mercedes.
Oh.
I don't know. You ain't fooling me. You might be fooling someone, but you ain't fooling me.
Oh, it's a love match in the chat.
Hey, girl, I'm start a dating channel over here in a minute.
Do it.
You talk about an old players line. Now, that's an old players line right there. Girl, I'll drink your bath water.
Nasty. I'd rather kiss.
Do that voice again.
Girl, I drink your bath water.
And Alex, that would scare me. I'd be like, oh,
oh gosh, let's move on.
Alex right now with his tongue just hanging out the
that's an old school vibe. What we said about Tony, the old school player, like
with the extra buttons on his satin shirt. Like, you know what? I knew he was gonna have the gold chains to go with it too. Like, gotta have them chains all. Just get out of here with that 70s play. Get out of here. But anyway, we get back to Dre, and Dre is running game. Or wait a minute, let's see what Jeffrey's Dre. I was just saying that Dre has left. He has this energy, and he's saying that Jeffrey is the most feminine woman. And I wanted to say that I want Kia and Kimberly and Alex, all of you to come back. Jay, if you're still in the chat, Wes from Stay Tuned Reviews, and a couple of others. I'm going to have some more men. I think Christopher Markland is coming over. We got to have a conversation on this channel about masculinity and femininity, because a lot of people are asking these questions. What's feminine? What's masculine? Is Jeffrey the most feminine? Is Shaq from Married at First Sight, is he really masculine? Is he feminine? What does it matter? Can an intelligent PhD type of guy who is corporate, can he also be masculine, or does he have to be thugged out to be masculine, considered masculine by Black women? These are really important questions that I want to talk about. So those things will be coming up. But
go ahead. I thought you were finishing up.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. You gonna say? Go ahead.
So can I add? So we talk about Jeffrey, and you know me in real life, and I'm very eccentric. But I was disappointed with Andre's whole get up. When the final date, red tennis shoes. If we going on a date, they just don't seem like a match. So I know I heard like in the YouTube streets, social media streets, that he's well-to-do, that he's, has a lot of money. So that's the reason why everybody was trying to get on your train, because there was nothing really that just stood out that said that he was this amazing catch that everybody just want to, be with Andre.
Right.
That was one of my thought processes. Like, is it because Jeffrey's seen, a meal ticket? Because her and him are like night and day. Day, when I go on a date with you, I want you to match my energy. Put on some dress shoes, and I get that I want you to be your individual person, but I don't know where it just didn't vibe with me. Like they were a couple, like going out together. That they, we're going to a wedding or whatever. Like it was a dressed up a moment, and she had on a little black dress and everything, and everybody else was dressed.
But that was Andre.
No, go ahead. Kimberly?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was Andre the whole season, though. Look at his hair. We had 3 hairstyles going on.
one day.
I wasn't trying to touch the hair because
she was just talking about the attire, though, Kimberly. Like his attire was not matching.
He had on the suit. He had on track shoes because he was ready to be a track star. He had on the suit. That was Andre. The 3 hairstyles, the 3 different suits.
If I take the time, and I said this on one of my shows, if I take the time to, what they call the young people, get my face together, do my hair, do all these things, put all this effort in, and you look like you didn't put any effort into this, that's a turn off for me. And so with Jeffrey's, looking like this well-to-do kept person, like she, the hair, the makeup, like she probably sleep with her makeup. It just looked like that they just didn't look like they would be on the town together vibing. Like they just had two different kind of like energies to me.
But it also reminds me of Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Beyonce looks like she's going to the Grammys every day, and Jay-Z looks like he might be going to hang out with the boys with his suit and tennis shoes on.
Okay,
Kimberly, and his hair.
That couldn't be me. I need you to bring my man to bring that heat.
Exactly. If I got on dress shoes, you need to have on dress shoes.
If I put it together when we going to a wedding, because one of my brothers came to the wedding and he had on some basketball shorts and some stuff going on. I was like, who raised you? I know we got the same mama, but who? This is a wedding, sir. So I get it, but you just show up, address how you want to be addressed. Even if he's making money, just, come. I get, Alice, what did you think about the whole get up on Andre? Everybody else was dressed up. Even the younger guy, Mark Anthony, he was dressed.
Well, Andre didn't even have long pants on. He had shorts on.
We've seen that. We've seen that before on the bridge too. Who had the short pants on one season? They had on like the pants. Who was that at the bridge that had on like trousers or knickers or something? Who was that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember who that was, but I do recall seeing that. But at the bridge, when you're making your choice, supposedly that the person you love and this is going to be your life choice or whatever, you got to represent in that moment.
Right.
That's what it's about. That moment. This is the culmination of everything you worked for during the course of the season, right. And you come in shorts and sneakers.
Like what?
So I agree with Kia. Come like you really going to impress this woman. Show up like that.
But guess what that also means? And someone said most women don't want that. But then if he can't even dress in real life, that comes into play with y'all living in the same household. Because I had a man that I was like, he had, he was challenged when it came to, wardrobe. And that came into play with things that he liked in the household. So, Aubrey's been in my house or whatever. She hasn't been over there recently, but, I did some updates. But I like things in a nice little way. So if you got a man that just like can't, put together an outfit, what you think he's going to want in the household? He gonna put a gold lion in the living room, like, and you just every time you walk past, you like.
Kia is very coordinated. Let me just say this: Kia is very coordinated from everything from her ensemble, what she wears, how she's very polished, is what she's trying to say. And then, how does that match up with somebody, a guy like how do you even Kia? How do you even take him to your fancy work events, right? How do you take him to the Christmas party? Like, how does he even match up? Is Dre gonna wear that crap to the corporate party? Like, really?
Or what about really doing here? So since you said that's your husband from day one, when Jeffrey said that was her husband.
Oh, her biblical husband, right, right.
So when I walk down that aisle, I gotta, hope that you have on like. I'm laughing, but I'm so serious. Like I just was not attracted to the whole. It just Kimberly, I'm glad that you were able to, give me the picture of Jay-Z and Beyonce. So maybe it's just me. I'm gonna, digress.
No, I mean, I think they're an exception to the rule, though. I think that's a great example. But the thing of it is that aren't they the exception to the rule, though?
Well, I have another example then.
Oh, okay. Knock the words out my mouth. Come on with it, girl. Come on, break it.
Young Jeezy and Jenny Ma. Jenny Ma dresses like she's going to.
I do that with my 50+ old R's. I have no clue to who the heck you're talking about.
Okay.
I've seen Jeezy in a black suit before and a black,
But he also wears capris and shorts with his suit jacket and tennis shoes.
Oh Lord.
Well, Lord. Anyway, guys.
All I'm saying is, men want to.
She likes it. I love it. I love
But
if she likes it, I love it. If, Beyonce likes it, I love it. Jay-Z is a billionaire, so I would definitely love that. So hey, you know, but I got a feeling that in their private lives, if they're going to something corporate, I got a feeling, Jay Z knows how to carry himself. He has a lot of swag. Let's say that. Let's give him credit. I feel like he does. And I think he knows when to wear what, and when to get effect and when he's just being corporate. So I don't know. That's how I feel. I don't know them personally, so I don't really know.
Yeah, as we find out though in the previews for the upcoming reunion,
But
Jeffrey
before
don't
we
like
get
it
to
either.
before we get to that, let's kind of take let's start walking. Let's continue to start walking because we didn't came this far, and I know we've lost a few viewers because they had to go, but that's okay. But we're gonna finish this up in proper form. We see Tony as we get to the bridge now because I'm gonna skip past a couple little notes of the vignettes because we basically saw a vignette of the highlights of the season, right? But now we're on the bridge. It's a beautiful day in Miami, and Tony is suited up and has dozens. Do you hear me? Not one dozen, not 2 dozen, but dozens of red roses waiting for Morgan. Morgan comes along. She is splendid. She is splendid in her red gown. Uh, Pause. Because now we're going to go back to Mercedes and Mark Anthony. They were on the bridge. I think I might have skipped that part, but they were on the bridge. So Mark Anthony was waiting there, and now Mercedes has entered. She has decided to choose herself because their foundation is unstable. And all I wanted to do, I just wanted to stand up and give her a standing ovation because I think she absolutely did the right thing. What do you guys think? What do you think, Alex?
You know, as much as I like Mark Anthony, she definitely made the right decision. That the distance is just too great to start out a relationship with. I mean, if you guys lived in the same city and built something together for maybe like a year or two, and then somebody had to relocate for work reasons or something like that, and you had to do the long distance thing for a while, that's different. But just starting out is too tough of a hill to climb. Too tough of a hill to climb. And I think she sensed that at the end, and she made the right decision for her.
Yes. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I thought this was one of the better decisions. And I was afraid that she was going to choose him. But I think, like she said, she did the work and she thought about it and she weighed the pros and cons. And she's not just necessarily doing it for likes and clicks and clout and to be on a reunion to say 3 weeks later they're no longer together. I think she absolutely made the right decision. Kia, what did you think?
well, I was happy that she chose herself. A lot of times, I don't know why, we sometimes women, that are not healed get in that headspace that you just have to settle. Been there,
Hmm.
done that. So I was just glad that she was able to say, you know what, this does not work for me early on. Kimberly reviews, allegedly they already did what they did. So hey, it's okay.
Well,
You know,
hey, now she's single, he's single. They were on the same
Right.
in the same city.
so
All's
I
fair in
get
love and
it.
war.
You,
Hopefully, you guys
but
you use protection, but prophylactics. But okay.
but that's a person that's aware, when you,
Hmm.
can cut your losses early on. Like, you know what, this doesn't work for me. Not just even with a man, with friendship. Like, this is not a friendship for me. This is not a relationship. So she knew that it was going to be a heartache. What Alex said. Long, term, it probably wasn't going to work out. And she just, did her, you know, cut her losses and, her pros and cons. And she said, you know what, I'm going to cut my losses. So
Cut my
I
losses.
clap, clap.
Clap, 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 clap. Kimberly, are you in agreement? Are you going to be the standalone that is disgusted with her choice? What do you say?
No, I support Mercedes and Mark Anthony. Well, actually, Mercedes' choice, but I am all for long distance relationships. I refuse to limit myself to North Carolina.
I
I
know.
think that she made the right choice because it wouldn't work for her personally. So you got to know yourself. You got to know what you can handle. If she wants that hot and heavy time every day, it ain't gonna work.
That's
And
right.
Kimberly, and I agree with you. Like you said, you can't just limit yourself to one place, because you never know where love, is. And like I've heard that the dating
Wink,
pool
wink,
is
wink.
crazy, So if you find someone that you are compatible with and you have those deep conversations, it can work. But again, I think they had a conversation and something didn't sit right that we are not privy to, and she was like, So she's not as with Alex said earlier, her
Mm.
friend didn't ask the right questions, or they was I think she got a little bit more sense, than we may,
Mhm.
probably
Than
give
we
her
gave
credit for.
maybe gave her credit for. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know what? While
Yeah.
Miami obviously has some of the most beautiful women, I know for a fact that New York City has some of the most beautiful women you ever want to see. I was got in the elevator with a supermodel and I was like, and I'm not even gay or nothing like that, but I was like, really? Like you are really this beautiful in person? Get out of here. Oh my gosh. But okay, so we as we move along, Anthony is waiting. We see Anthony waiting with his bouquet. We see Dre waiting on the other side, on the west side. And which one of them is waiting for Cynthia? Once again, we are reminded that this is the prettiest RTL cast, bar none. The ladies are, I'm saying this, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but I am saying, I am reminded that these women, this cast of Miami this season is to me the prettiest, most beautiful collectively RTL cast that I've ever seen. They are in all shapes and sizes and complexions, and they are gorgeous. Like Cynthia, gorgeous.
Mhm.
Morgan, gorgeous. Like all of them. Jonique, back from the past, gorgeous. Just all shapes. Just Miami got some bad women. That's all I can say. Anthony, we see that Anthony does meet with Cynthia. So now we know who Cynthia's going to be with. Uh, he meets her. He tells her that she is pretty, she is smart, and she is impotent. She smiles, and the shines down on them as she accepts his bouquet, and she accepts that he is saying that he chooses her. She also chooses him. Guys, what do we think?
I'm not surprised at that. I'm not surprised that Cynthia or Anthony chose Cynthia or Cynthia chose Anthony. Nor was I surprised with Jay and Andre and Jeffrey. Those are not any surprises there to me.
Okay, all right, very good. Kia, you felt the same way?
yes. With Cynthia, I don't know what her thing was with Andre, but sis, let it go. We have to learn, if
Mm-hmm.
someone is not picking you, it's okay to pick
Yes.
yourself. So, I'm not, I think Cynthia had enough sense to say, what, I'm not about to be in a competition with Jeffrey. I let you know I like you. But
Mm-hmm.
your mind is made up. She's, she got something, going on upstairs. And she was just like, I'm gonna go over here with safe, and I think, the nurse name, I can't think of it right now, but he was safe.
Anthony.
Yeah,
Anthony.
Anthony was safe. He was intentional, even with the kiss. The kiss sealed the deal because they said
Mm.
that they wouldn't kiss until they knew. So I think she pretty much kind of knew then, but she still had that attachment to Andre because she shed all them tears. So that was that. They she had to be careful because she was gonna have some trauma bonding or something uh, with Andre, and if she would have kept it up. But I just think that it worked out fine. I just think that you know Andre made it clear several times that he was trying to find fault in Cynthia. He may not have said it directly, but I saw that he was not trying to pick Cynthia a long time ago. Even when he was at his house feeding Jeffries, and he was trying to say stuff why he picked Jeffrey.
Mm. Yeah, it does seem like the choices that were reasonable. That kind of was what we expected. That Cynthia ended up with Anthony rather than Dre, and of course Dre, who was always drooling over Jeffrey, ended up telling her that she was his girl and his choice. And I think the last thing that I said out of this is, we got to circle back over here to Morgan. We get back to Morgan, and Morgan is over here doing what I suspected she was going to do. Because if a woman is vindictive enough to put nair in a man's hair as he's sleeping, she's also vindictive enough and cunning enough to say, now, Tony, now that you've chosen me, I don't choose you. I choose myself. Your behavior was unacceptable. I did not like the last straw was when you said that Lyndon could have me and you would take Marcia over me. That was just too much for her pride and her ego. She said, oh no. Oh no, you don't on national TV. I do not choose you. Alex, how do you feel about that?
I was a little surprised that she didn't pick Tony, but
I
I was
was.
relieved. But I was relieved because I was relieved because if they had gotten together, I see both of them on the front page of the newspaper.
Mm.
You know, because
Oh, yeah, they had been together. Okay, I see what you're
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah, I see them on the front page of the newspaper. Um, the thing is, she has all these problems with Tony, but yet continued to fight for him to get right to the end. So was this just her way of sticking it to him publicly? Because
Yes,
he
Alex.
he came there with nothing but confidence. He had confidence written all over his face. Like, this is my woman. This, we leaving here together. You know,
Mhm.
to the point he was overconfident, in my opinion. And I think
That's
that
it.
was her opportunity to shoot him down publicly because of this entanglement, because of how you speak to me, because you said Lyndon can have me and different things. And this was her moment to get him publicly because he embarrassed her publicly throughout the season.
Exactly. But you remember I said that early on. She likes the grand finale to have the last word. And I can't remember what episode that she said something like, basically, I'm going to have the last word. With that Morgan and Tony,
Oh, yeah, when she was
they did
talking about that, she likes to make a grand exit. Is that
yes.
what she said?
Now
Okay.
with Tony and I still don't think it's a safe situation between Tony and Morgan because just like he got Natasha, you think he didn't get Morgan? Because on the reunion, the clips, they were still very like toxic. It was still chaos. Like, why is he in the dressing room? I want to talk to you, and you like,
I
sir.
think he might have been one of those players that got played, and like Alex was saying, as he pointed out, knowing this from maybe previous experience, Alex, I'm not sure. But when a player gets played, that's the worst kind of person, the worst kind of man you want to see, because he's probably at home crying in his pillow. She played me. She played me. And see,
His
now he
ego is
wants her.
shattered. His
Now,
ego is
now
shattered.
his
But
ego is
read that
shattered.
vibe. They still to because it's something deeper than like I said. They did some stuff. I'm with high vibe right there. Some
Yeah,
happened.
right there. There it is.
That's why it was hurt that you did Natasha first. Oh no, sir. So that probably came after he got her cookie. Again, these are all
Mhm.
assumptions. It's just based on the behavior that y'all running around crazy. Because it's like,
Mhm.
why are you crazy? You only known him for what is it, 10 weeks?
You
What?
know what is that ancient story of Phil and Shiloh, and the other young lady, what's her name? That he ended up crossing the bridge with, the beautiful young lady. Alex, what's her name? Phil, the season Ready to Love DC.
Oh, with
Alex.
Phil.
Yeah, Phil and Shiloh, but what was the third party? It was a love triangle. Who was the other lady?
Oh yeah.
The IG model. Anybody remember the IG model that Phil ended up leaving with? But
Oh,
anyway,
I'm gonna
huh?
say this in closing. In my
Yes, in
closing.
closing. Thank you,
Stop
babe.
sleeping with people. When you sleep with people, somebody gonna get attached. And usually it's like I say, I ain't speak for all women, but a lot of times it's us. And now we in our feelings. And
Mhm.
again, when people break up, see everybody
I
not
think
like you,
Tony got a little attached to her, like you said, or maybe it's his pride or his ego. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
but everybody not like you, Aubrey, when you break up or when you stop, cut the calls off. Because I've had in my
Yeah.
past, or usually when somebody acting crazy, that's because they're still sleeping together. Like, I've had instances with my brother, somebody, acting crazy when the girls, I say, what's going on? And you find out he's still sleeping with her. That's why she's still crazy. That's why she feel like she can come knocking on this door at 3 o'clock in the morning because you
Oh,
still sleep with her.
absolutely.
Stop sleeping with
Hmm.
her. When you stop sleeping with people, people kind of calm down a little bit.
Right.
So
But these
I
men are
And
gonna learn.
Aubrey,
These men are
Aubrey,
gonna learn. Either they gonna have their good USAA auto insurance, or they gonna get the windows in their cars bursted out. Okay, they gonna
yeah,
learn, because you're not gonna keep doing this stuff with this one lady, and then you over here doing something with the other lady, because one of them ladies gonna get really upset and hot and bothered, and they gonna do something, and you ain't gonna like it. I don't care if you from New York, Detroit, Miami, Chicago, Houston. You're not going to like it.
and
yeah,
So
Aubrey.
learn to end things. Go ahead, Alex.
That love triangle you was referring to with Phil from DC. That was Phil, Shiloh, and Sydney. Sydney.
Sydney, that's her name. Yeah, that's her name. But I mean, it's reminiscent. The reason why I brought them up simply was because it reminded me, and it just appeared to us viewers and bloggers that there was something going on still with physically with Phil and Shiloh. I'm just saying allegedly it appeared. And like some things had been clapped and touched and what have you not. And then when he went over with the other girl, Sydney, there were some feelings involved with it, which of course there's going to be. Of course there's going to be. Quit playing with people's hearts. You playing with people's heart, men and women. You got to stop doing that. You're not going to like
Mm,
the results that you get.
And that's
mm.
why you gotta just shut it down. Because, like I say,
Shut
when
it
you keep
down.
on,
What
eventually.
what one by one, tell me this. What are you guys, and we'll start okay, we're gonna start Kia with you, but I'm gonna give you a second. I want to ask you one by one, what are you most looking forward to on this reunion? And does anybody know if this is gonna be a two-part reunion again this season, or is it gonna be just one part because they haven't said anything? And what are you most looking forward to finding out and to seeing? Go ahead, Kia,
Okay,
you're on.
so I'm just interested in Jeffrey and Andre because she threw out "That's my biblical husband" in her soft voice. So I'm just curious what happened after the show.
Mm. Great
Mm.
question. I can tell you what happened, but go ahead.
No, don't
Well, I
don't give
want
it away. Don't give it away.
well, message me offline, Alex.
He would know because he's basically letting you know that he's Dre
Oh, shame
from
on
way
you.
back from way back when.
Mm.
Kimberly, my dear, my love, what are you looking forward to? What do you think we're gonna see? What are you looking forward to finding out?
I'm looking forward to seeing how Cynthia and Anthony are doing. Hopefully, they're still together. And I want to see, like Kia said, what happened between Jeffrey and Andre, because we have to be careful when we say God said or God told me or this is godly,
Oh
because
yes.
now how is she running so, so hard against him like he's the worst man in the world? So you got to be careful and make sure that that's why I think it would have been important for Jeffrey to bring someone of substance to the show to really feel these guys out, so she could have walked away like Mercedes did.
Mm.
Mm, excellent point. Excellent
Mm.
point.
Mm.
And last but not least, that old magnetic guy. Come on, tell us what you're looking for. Don't give nothing away. Just tell us what question. Do you want to know who Blue ends up with, or do we
That's
think we
that's what I
already
want to
know?
know.
That's on my community tab, by the way, in case you
Mm.
haven't been over there in a while, Alex.
Mm. Yeah,
Who are watching? I got a community tab. We
yeah.
discussed
That's but that's what I wanted to know. I want to know who's the secret person from a previous season that Blue is currently dating, because everybody seems shocked at who it is, and I want to know who this person is. Because we interviewed Blue, as everybody knows. Blue is a real cool cat, laid back cat.
yes, he
Um,
is.
and I want to know who he's dating from the previous season. This thing with Andre and Jeffrey for me is not a shocker at all. And she said in the trailer for the reunion, Andre was looking for a way out. She said that, and
Mm,
I can almost guess the way out was those children. Reality set in.
mm.
Reality set in.
Right. You no longer on that show, and now you burden with, oh, I shouldn't say burden, but now you've got to deal with these three children. And this woman, she apparently, from what she's been telling us all season long, basically has no support from the fathers, financially or otherwise. So that is a lot. That's a huge stressor. Actually, a lot of people talk about Jeffrey, and I know, yeah. She's got issues. We all got issues. But the thing about it, I feel compassion and empathy for her though, and those three kids. If they genuinely don't have their fathers in their lives emotionally, physically, financially, that's a lot. And that's, once again, like I said, we as Black women, we take on mothering the children, fathering the children, working the jobs, and then the kids will say later on, somebody like Shaq from Married at First Sight, my mother was never home. She was never able to come to school to see me perform. She was never able to come to see me receive my certificate for top student, top scholar. And you got these broken people that now, as a grown man in his 30s, he's expecting his wife to be at every single work event. Every time he goes somewhere for work, he wants her to come along and clap him off. But I'm like, she also has a career too, dude. Like, for real.
Mm. And also, I want you guys to think about this with Morgan and Tony. Okay, now is it really? And think about the whole season. Think about how things ended with this finale. Is it that Tony really wants Morgan, or is it that Tony just don't like to lose?
I'm
Oh
with
yeah, it's definitely.
Aubrey.
Go
His
ahead.
ego. His ego. I mean,
His
like
ego. Hmm.
that toxic people like toxic people. So she was like the Nair thing was strange to us, but some guys like the drama. You know, when you ask the guy who the same girl
Mm.
breaks out his windows, the same girl goes to your mama house and dumps bleaches your clothes in her front yard, but you still kick it with her. So Tony looks like he likes that toxic mess. And it was his
Mm.
ego because how dare you? He was confident and cocky, and he was, like, this is this. And when she said no in his little blazer, he was like, oh no.
You say his blazer. Yeah, and his satin shirt because
I got dressed up for you,
I
girl.
got dressed up with my dress shoes on for you. What? You said what? I think the whole point of too, think about it, a guy like Tony, for him to actually profess having enough feeling to actually choose one woman or a woman, whether it's one woman, but to choose a woman publicly, that's a big deal for him, right?
I've had men publicly claim me and they were still dogs. So
What? No, no, no. That is not what I'm. Kia, I absolutely. Why are you laughing so hard, Alex?
Boy, Key is
So
a
you,
mess. I tell you,
so,
Key is
so
something
you,
else.
yeah. She peeps people out. That's anyway. So okay. So but my point is not that he doesn't still see people. I get that. I get that all day long. But my point is for him to publicly do it goes back to your point, Kia, is that he's embarrassed, he's humiliated, he's humbled because ultimately Tony does come across as overly cocky or confident, right?
but I'm gonna say this last thing because, like, I got Alex cracking up. I had one guy
You
because
know why that is, don't you? But go
in my
ahead.
heydays I was a hot mess. So if y'all don't know me in the audience, I'm Kia. I'm a little, I toned down. I'm too old for the shenanigans. But I had a guy who Mama told him, "You gonna meet your match." And when he met his match, which was, I'm not bragging about it, but I was his match. And he told me, he said, "My mama told me I was gonna meet my match."
Oh yeah.
And you took me
Mm.
out. And I said,
Mm.
I didn't, and I had nothing to brag about. So it's just like, oh, okay, but you wanted to play the game. Okay, I got you. We're going to play this until we get tired. But I would never do that now. But Tony, to me, is, like I said, it was a game to him. Like, I publicly claimed you.
Mhm.
And how dare
Mhm.
you play my game? But again, she the near queen. What else she been out here in these streets doing?
Exactly. He met his match. He met his match. That's what
Mm.
I think. He met his
You know?
match, and now
And
now
I'm
he
sure
sees how it
Alex has
feels.
met his match. Again,
Oh, I
it's
know he has.
silly games and silly surprises, but man, you're gonna meet your match, and that's when you probably had that good come to Jesus moment. Like, let me sit my little self down because I met my match, and I was like,
Mm.
okay, you know what? Let me sit this one out. So yeah, Tony,
Girl,
he
want to break
just
your heart?
yes, but Tony, I think, like I said,
Painful.
that he did it
Painful.
publicly, and he thought he had it, in the bag, and he thought she was weaker than what he thought, and she, because she sat there at the table and she cried in the room, about another man, and he came in there, I dare you cry about another man, and he thought he had it in the bag, but he didn't. Sorry, Tony, the near queen, checkmate.
Mm.
My girl say checkmate.
Mhm.
Woo!
But I
Checkmate.
still think they're too old for to be moving like that. But hey,
Kimberly, what are your final thoughts as we close this out? Guys, and thank you for hanging around so much. I hope you clicked that like button on your way in, on your way out, whichever. Just make sure you've liked the video. Share it. Think about subscribing. If you've been here more than 2 times, you basically family. So you need to go ahead and subscribe. Kimberly, your
Oh
thoughts.
yeah. For me, I was pleased with three of the four decisions. I'm not pleased with Andre and Jeffrey. So I am just looking forward to the reunion and seeing what happens.
I am too. Anything in particular that you are most curious about? That what about nobody's mentioned about Anthony, how is Anthony and Cynthia doing? You know?
Oh yeah, that was what I said earlier. I'm looking forward to seeing if they're still together. How they're
Okay.
doing.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
me
they
too.
are vibrant. They're young. Like I said, he's a nice, they were the younger ones. So he's out here in New York, well, in New York, living his best life. She's in Miami, So I think they were just like, they don't have baggage. And that's why I said we got to stop settling. So I think, Jeffrey, she got the 3 kids. Like, okay, ooh, I ain't got no babysitter. Like you have baggage. Not baggage. I don't want to call it children baggage. So please don't beat me up, y'all. I'm just saying you have extra stuff going on. So, at the end of the day, those two, I'm not worried about those two. Those two will find someone. They're going
Oh,
to find love.
absolutely.
It's going to be amazing. So they just realized they were not right for each other. They both, are free. They're
Right.
free people.
They're both tender and like you said, still young and vibrant, and it looks like they have done what they're supposed to do as young people, young men or a young man or a young woman, is protect your heart and not get enmeshed in a lot of junk and a lot of foolishness, not out here making a bunch of babies that you're not with people you're not married to. So they've done very well at this game of love thus far. So I think that they will be ready when their true partner for marriage, or as the case may be with Mark Anthony for the sister wives. I think he'll be ready, and I think she'll be ready for her husband. So I think they'll both be ready. Yes, I did say sister wives because I think that's where he's headed, but I could be wrong.
Oh, Mark Anthony.
Yeah, Mark Anthony
Oh,
he gonna be on the show Sister Wives. He gonna have about 10 brides too, because you know what, he can do that. He got the looks that he could do that.
uh,
He got the look. Well, what about your boy LJ? He might be on Sister Wives soon too.
look, that's funny because when you asked earlier who is Blue dating, and I was gonna jokingly say Blue took one of my sister wives away from LJ.
See there, I told you. Well, that's the new thing in the Black community. We all polyamorous, and so by the way, you can catch us on Monday nights here on Actually Aubrey. That's Mocha Mima and I talking about the new hit show, the new reality show, Seeking Brother Husband. So we're gonna flip it around on you guys. We got multiple
Yes,
husbands, and we are keeping them satisfied. They are keeping us satisfied, and everybody's happy because we got two men to move the sofa when we decide to move it from the by the window from away from the window. Okay,
No,
so
thank you.
check us out, and Alex and I will be back on Tuesday. We will be talking about, what is it, Alex? We'll be talking about put a what on it.
Put a ring on it. Oh.
And on this Tuesday, especially, we will have an exclusive with whom?
With Jamie and Irena from Love and Marriage DC. They coming to talk to us.
They're coming to talk to us right
nice.
here on this channel. So make sure you subscribe, because there's no way you're going to be able to chat unless you're one of my subscribers. Join the A team, guys. We on our way out of here. Say goodbye, guys.
Take
Bye
care.
bye. Love you.
Love you guys. Bye now. And happy Easter.